Hey guys, it's Nicole, and I am jumping into the April 2013 Super Sketch Club kit from Scrapbook Generation. I'm starting with the 3 Super Saver layouts, mostly because I already had photos printed and matched, and they were all from the same event, so I just kind of went ahead and decided to start with the Super Savers portion. So I'm just going through and I'm cutting all of the papers at once. Then I can just sort them into which papers go to layout 1, layout 2, and layout 3. And that's just easier for me. I know that you can kind of pick and choose which layout you want to do and only trim your papers for that layout. I just find it easier, since I'm already sitting down with the instructions, to go ahead and cut everything sort of all at once and then sort it so that if I don't have a chance to put all 3 layouts together on the same day, it's just kind of easier for me, if I have a break between and I come back maybe on another day. So again, I'm just following the cutting guides, which you can see on their printout right there. They give you very good detailed instructions as far as what to cut. One of the papers, you don't trim anything off of it. You just do a big circle cut, and they even told you in the instructions, if you have a digital die cutter, go ahead and run it through that. Or I believe Debbie put on the instructions that she just traced a dinner plate and then hand cut it. So at this point in cutting all my papers, I just set that paper aside and knew that later, when I needed to do some more cutting, I would just go ahead and cut a circle on my Cameo. And again, here I'm just matching up which papers go to which layout and just kind of putting them with the white cardstock that came in the kit. And this was another one of those layouts where they told you not to throw away the manufacturer's strip. On this Pebbles line, the backside of the manufacturer's strip that you cut off was a little bonus piece of pattern, so they included those in their design. So I made sure not to put those in my garbage so that I didn't have to go sort of digging through the trash later to find those. And here I've pulled all the components for layout 1 and just kind of following the extra instructions that they include as far as rounding the corners, inking the edges with brown ink. And lately I've just been using, I want to say, the Colors Vintage Photo distress ink. I bought a couple of the 4 packs of the mini ink cubes, and I really like them. I don't really know if it's necessary to buy the larger ones, so I'm kind of just investing in the smaller ones, and I kind of feel like if I find myself using a couple colors constantly, then I might go ahead and make the investment into the larger pads. And more than likely I could only see myself doing that with maybe the browns and the black and stuff for inking the edges of your papers and stuff. I don't really do much card making, so as far as all those cool techniques with the distress inks, I haven't gotten into all that, so I don't know, I'm not there yet. So I just keep going with these little cubes, and they seem to work great for inking the edges of your papers. And that's pretty much like the most maybe tedious or time-consuming part of these is inking the edges, and it's not something that you necessarily have to do. They just tell you in their instructions that they inked the edges, and it's something that I have done for years, so it's just kind of habit to me. I don't really like seeing the white core of the paper a lot of times, so very rarely will I not ink the edges. And then I had to cut out the part of the video where I needed to change my ATG tape. I apparently got a bad roll, so when I tried to change it, it just was a nightmare. Like, I couldn't get it off the roll, it just was not working, so I ended up just trashing it. That's The only nice thing about when you buy them in like a group buy and you get such a good price on it is when you get one that's just not going to work, I don't feel bad about throwing it in the trash. So at this point, I'm just kind of following the photos on the right that I printed out as far as where things go. These are really easy to put together. There's not a whole lot of trying to figure out necessarily what they've done. It's pretty clear and concise. So that's the basic layout right there. And then instead of the 12 by 12 sticker sheet that normally comes with the Super Savers portion, they gave us the pack of chipboard, and at Pebbles they come in these cute little bags that look like potato chips. And I'm still unpacking, still trying to find things, and I have not come across regular size glue dots, and I didn't want to end up using I didn't want to end up using up all of my bling size glue dots because I like using those on sequins. So later you'll see I sort of try a combination of ATG, multi-matte medium, just anything to kind of hold the chipboard onto my layout, because I just did not want to go tearing through a bunch of boxes. I just wanted to sit down and put a couple of these layouts together. And so all I was doing there was taking those strips that they had us cut out in the instructions, notch the ends, inked the edges, and then just attach them over on the left-hand side. And then I'm going through all the pieces of chipboard and kind of just sorting through and trying to get an idea as far as which goes to which layout. And I was kind of bummed that when I opened it, you can see on the two yellow flowers right there, I had like 3 or 4 pieces of chipboard where the actual color, printed part of the chipboard was not there. Like it was scraped off or ripped off, and it wasn't like stuck to any of the other pieces, so I'm not real sure what happened there. But I'm putting this layout together 2 years later, so I'm not gonna like call Scrapbook Generation or Pebbles or anybody and complain about it. I just was like, well, if I can cover up those parts, I'll cover up those parts. If not, it is what it is. And again, here I was like, I'm gonna try the multi-matte medium because that stuff holds so well. The only problem that I noticed when I came back later was like any liquid glue, it saturated my paper underneath and it got a little warped underneath. But by the time I put it in a page protector in my album, it's not gonna bother me. But eventually I'm either going to find my glue dots or I'm going to give up and just buy new ones. And it's like the most random things that I am not finding yet. Like I'm using those giant scissors for fussy cutting because I can't find my cutter bees, which is frustrating. It's just, I don't know, I feel like when you move, no matter how organized you are with packing things and keeping things together, something always goes missing. Something always ends up in a weird random spot. So I am just continuing to follow the photo guide as far as where the different chipboard pieces go, and then the instructions had mentioned which pieces they used foam tape on, so again I just followed what they did. And then when I was done with all the chipboard, that was pretty much the end of the layout. I decided to go ahead and grab my sequins, and I have a bunch of different colors from Pretty Pink Posh. And I really like adding them to these kits. Sometimes I want something extra. I just kind of feel like sometimes more on the Super Savers, just because you're kind of stretching your supplies so far that they can kind of feel like they just need something. And so I will usually go with sequins or stamping or buttons or just something little and something that I just, whatever the mood strikes me. A lot of times I'll pull out enamel dots or sequins usually. And I just grabbed the little teeny tiny glue dots and some different colors that matched the paper and just kind of scattered them on the left page and on the far right. And then is pretty much it. I decided not to add any stamping or journaling at this point. Later I will probably come back and add a couple journaling strips on the piece of chipboard that was included for that purpose. And again, these are just the areas that I added the sequins to. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.